Okay, so I'm more so doing this for myself for basically when Destiny's final update comes out. They're showing 3 void abilities as of, well, I think today. Was it today? I think it was today. It's 4:30 a.m. right now, so technically it's the next day, I think, since after it's came out. But I want to basically theory craft in my brain what some of these new void abilities are going to be, or like how they could be used. The only 3 we got was the Warlock, the Titan, and the Hunter. The Hunter, we got a melee ability, Warlock we got a melee ability, and the Titan we got a super. Now basically, since it's void, right? Necrotic Grips, Claws of Ahamkara, Winter's Guile, Ophidian, Kirstein's, and Fellwinter's. Maybe Nezrak's Sin, but like, I don't know, whatever. It could possibly tie into some funny stuff, and I think that's it, because we can't use Solsticism or since it's a void and it's void exclusive. But I'm super curious in how basically it's gonna basically work. Oh wait, actually here, I'll show the melee ability first. Yeah, especially the guy right here, bro. So since it strikes kind of like a little bit of a tether, a little bit of a Spider-Man web dealio, I feel like obviously it's going to be good with this. It's free health, and then you're also going to have Devour, so it's kind of useless to run this, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't see how that really would fit too much into it. It would be nice, but it'd be funny. This could also be interesting, getting more melee range out of it, but I don't know if it would actually affect the melee range, nor do I know how useful it would be. It'd probably be decent for PvP. Running this with the Void Hunter, or that Void Warlock, and then just maybe hitting them from a farther range, and that would be low-key kind of broken, but also not at the same time. Extra melee charge, I mean, you know, it's just another melee charge, but it's not really a charge, it's more of an ability, so that I wouldn't see a reason why you would need an extra charge. Yeah, I don't know, yeah. But the 2 things I do think would be, realistically, I guess the best for the new melee would be Necros. Dude, I'm so curious what this would be. This was like, I could see an Striga build, or like a Thorn build, and then having that melee on top of it, that'd be super fun. And then also you got Winter's Guile. This could, it's like, thing is, like, we don't know how much damage it's gonna do, and I'm super curious how much damage it's gonna do, because that could be, dude, this could be insane. Like that could be ridiculously funny. That could be such a fun build to run. Like, that could be such a fun build. And also, I do know, I think there's supposed to be more abilities. I kind of forgot, honestly. I like half watched Data's video on it. And just like all the stuff that was coming out with all the characters and whatever. I just remember more Hunter Solar stuff rather than, I think it was Solar. It might have been, I don't really remember. But then there's the Titans. His is literally, the bubble ult now is throwable, which is kind of weird. You throw that down, it pulls them in, and then you can pick the ball up and then throw it, and it lands, and it turns into a bigger ability. And that, I mean, like, we're gonna have backup plans. Backup plans is gonna be like a no-brainer. Running this with Lord of Wolves inside a bubble, like, I bet the DPS will be ridiculous on top of that. Because then you're also gonna get, I think, even in the video, hold on, I think you get, when you're inside the bubble, yeah, you get Weapons of Light. So that's also going to be pretty interesting, because if we can get Weapons of Light also with no backup plan and getting both of that damage on top of each other and then running Lord of Wolves, Slayer's Fang is also getting a buff, so that could also be interesting, because I think the bullets would also ricochet inside the bubble, so then you could just turn it to like a big, inside your bubble was basically just shrapnel going everywhere, which would be pretty interesting, pretty fun. But no backup plan is like a flat out no-brainer, and I'm super curious how people would possibly use it for maybe DPS phases. I can't really think of many encounters where that would be like super good, but I can think of a couple. Obviously, yeah, you could use Mask of the Quiet One as well, but I don't know. You'd want to run something that basically give your super back will give it back as much as possible, and then pretty much always try to run a shotgun. So I mean, that could work, but like, whatever. Now you could also use Helm of Saint 14. I don't really, yeah, this could be interesting. And then, honestly, I kind of think that's it. I think that's like the only 2 things you'd really want to run. It's like Helm of Saint 14, no backup plans. Yeah, because nothing else in here really merges with that. Yeah, everything else in here is kind of just a whatever, but no backup plan. and Helm of Saint 14 could be a really, I'm mainly curious about this. I want to see this, because I think that damage combo would go absolutely insane. Because if I remember correctly, yeah, you get a 35% damage buff. So I mean, god, dude, that's so much damage. Like, I think you would run Helm of Saint 14 mainly for maybe like group damage or whatever, but I mean, yeah, I think Helm of Saint 14 would mainly be group damage, but no backup plan for solo damage, dude. Oh my god, dude, this thing's gonna be so gross. Like, that with Little Wolves would just be so insane. Because that right now is already a really good combo. Or you could run something like this, the Fourth Horseman. That would be insane as well. You could, oh my god, dude, the amount of damage you could pump out with that thing would probably be gross. And then you also have Slayer's Fang. Everything else, I mean, I don't really know. Maybe you could do like a slug, like a dual slug build, possibly with Cascade Point type of deal. That could possibly be a thing. That'd be cool. That'd be fun to see. That damage would be gross. Like, possibly running like something like the Chaperone, and then like a secondary shotgun that has Cascade Point, and then maybe Precision Instrument or something along those lines. That would be a very gross combo. That's better for that. I don't really know anything about that. But also, then let me go to it. There's also the Hunter. The Hunter I'm kind of iffy on, because it looks cool. Like the whole dealio with the Hunter looks kind of legit. Yeah, as he said, it spreads it out. So you basically just go in for a dash. It's a dash with your melee. It's a permanent melee ability. So, I mean, basically any of our void builds will basically get turned to that. And I also make builds like these a lot more fun. Like, you can be a lot more aggressive with your void builds. That'll be cool. And dude, it's just gonna, like the meleeness is just gonna be insane. You'll probably run this combo. I don't really know if you would, I don't see a point in running these two. Like, you could run Trapper's Ambush instead of On the Prowl, but On the Prowl with the Stylus Executioner, you're running around, dashing through everything, having something on like Echo of Explosion is just gonna make stuff go boom. That's also gonna be really cool. Then you can also have this with Undermining, and then have Scatter Grenade on, throw that on stuff, or throw that on top of stuff, weaken the enemy. If they're not dead, dash through them. Depending on how much damage it does, it's also going to be kind of insane. Then you can match it with, if it does weaken the enemies, depending on whatever, or if it has On the Prowl, or maybe if you have this on, you could also have Trapper's Ambush, and then that weakens the enemy, you could dash through them, and then they drop an Overpower or Void Breach, then you get Devour, and then you could get Overshield from it as well. That would be insane. And also you could have this too, you could also put that on top there. And somewhere in tighter builds, so then it doesn't come back quick enough, because it looks like on the video, he killed it, and he got half of his energy back. So he rolls, dashes, gets the kill, and then he gets half of his energy back. That by itself is really interesting, because I'm curious if it's always going to give half the stat back, or if it's going to depend on your melee. And if it depends on your melee energy, theoretically, if you can get it back every time after you kill something, dude, that, like, oh my god. That's going to make PvE. Oh my god, I didn't even think about PvP. Oh my god, that PvP is going to be gross. Because also you could run like something like I guess you wouldn't really need that actually. I was going to say, you could probably run Assassin's Cowl. I mean, you could. I don't see many use cases for that though, because all you're really getting out of that is the health. But if you have all the power and whatever stuff, and Devour actively rolling, I mean, you're not going to really need it. And we don't even know what all the artifacts we're going to get. So the amount of builds, especially with mainly the Warlock, the Titans still kind of would, I think, in a weird field, because like I don't remember many things with how, or any artifacts I should say, or artifacts, whatever, that would tie in with, like, maybe shotgun damage you can get tie-ins with, but for void damage or void something with overshield, like I don't know. I think of that, what was it, 2 seasons ago, it was called Armor Crusher? Is that what it was called? But basically you had overshield on, or what of the other abilities, or the active buffs on, you would charge up either your melee ability or your grenade. It's the only thing I could really think of where it would overshield kind of pair with stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. But Assassin's Cowl could be interesting for that build. Honestly, like this could be cool. I guess you could build like a really hyper aggressive build, like a super hyper aggressive build. But also, I don't know how useful it would be if you wanted to run that, because I feel like you would want that damage from Stylus Execution in. Rather than execution. Like, I could see there being a world where you didn't run that, and then you ran, like, you could run Trapper's Ambush, but I think this would be the combo either way. This is pretty much the combo for basically everything anyways. God, dude, there's gonna be so many hyper-aggressive builds, because then you can also low-key probably play into Spectral Blades as well, especially for PvP. That's mainly PvP. But I hope in their next TWAB, they hopefully, I doubt, man, if Spectral Blades could low-key hop into the, like, super damage meta, that would be insane. Graviton Forfeit could be an interesting build play as well, especially with the new ability. That would be kind of insane. Because literally, you're basically going invisible every time with the melee, and if you're constantly playing around the melee ability, you wouldn't be really shooting as much, so breaking your invisibility wouldn't be too big of a problem, and then you would constantly be in it, and then if you're... wow, yeah, that could be interesting, because then you could also... say if your ability doesn't... or the melee ability doesn't come back, or give you more refund energy after a kill, even if you up your melee stat, and it's only always at half, this could really up the getting back that melee ability, and that would be really nice. This could also, I could see a potential with this, but that would be super niche, because you would need something to hit you to even get the proc off of that. Like, something would have to hit you, and then you could use that, and then that with weaken. That'd be interesting. But that seems like such a weird case scenario build. This sealed on car grass could be interesting, because then you could run this with... there's already a slight build with these and the whatchamacallit, the parasite. So low-key those two together with possibly either Deadfall or Mobius Quiver. No, don't use Deadfall. Never know what we're talking about. With Mobius Quiver, that could be interesting. That could be like a cool little combo. I don't really know how many bosses you would use that on though, because the boss would have to have ads, and there would have to be consistent ads coming through for you to be able to, I guess, ad clear, like heavy ad clear, that you could use that on, and then maybe get away with that. That'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting. But there would have to, yeah, I don't know. That'd be a weird one. That'd be a super weird one. But I could see that also being a thing. That'd be kind of cool. I think that's it. Because I don't know anything else. You know, it'd be cool if they low-key tweaked Gwen's vest a little bit, and then made it somehow... actually, that could be interesting. Yeah, this could be interesting. But if they made this basically synergize with that ability, that'd be super cool. But exiting invisibility while near a target creates a cloud of weakening smoke around you, that could be interesting with that melee build. Because then you're always constantly weakening, kind of. At least there has to be enemies around you. But if there are, then I mean... and then obviously you have Guy Falcons, or Gear Falcons. That'd be really cool. Because then you could just run basically any void weapon. So then you can run something like Slayer's Fang, since that's getting a big reserves buff. And then you can actually run around with that a good bit. Yeah, because then you basically always have volatile rounds. So that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool, because then also if you don't do enough damage to him, but you don't do enough damage to kill him with the melee, say if they have enough health left, then you can just finish them with this and then get all the buffs from it, and then you can run something like proximity ward, and then you always have an overshield when doing finishers, so then your finishers would be safer, and then you could get away with that. That'd be interesting. Cavalry Sting wouldn't really do anything, because you don't have Smoke Bomb, but also at the same time, just defeating a weakened target releases a burst of weakening smoke. So then I guess you could always keep that rotation up, which is like constantly weakening, but you might as well, if you want to do that, you might as well just run Gear Falcons. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else that would like really synergize with that new melee ability, like at all. You could run this, Fortune's Favor, but I just don't see the purpose of doing that, like at all. There'd just be no point of running this, like maybe for survivability, but like, then I wouldn't be running that build in the first place. Yeah, and I think that's it. There's not really much else you could do with that. Yeah, that's it, I guess. I don't think we'll get anything until... what did Homeboy say? I think they just said we'll talk to you soon. Like, that's all we're showing now. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, it says see you tomorrow. So, I mean, yeah, shout out to the goat. But, yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting if they do show more abilities. But the new abilities look super cool. It does suck that literally, if this DLC came up before the game ended, dude, it so would have juiced the game. Yeah, man, this build would be cool. So, hopefully... the ideas I just had now, or if just literally came up with after literally watching that video, I was like, oh my god, dude, wait a minute, I need to say this, because if I say this, and then I actually go back and I do these things so I don't forget, awesome. Oh, I didn't think about Frosty E5s. These kind of suck, though. I don't even know what you do with that. That kind of sucks, honestly. So, yeah, I don't know. If they do more of these, I'll make another one of these so that I can remember. But, yep.